It's time to dad.
Hey guys, this is Joe from Time to Dad. I'm here with the rest of the crew tonight. This is actually our first episode of Time to Dad, so welcome to all our viewers and listeners. We're here tonight to really hone in on three topics that we all felt was really important just to kind of touch on. And the first one is I think we're all creatures of the past, right? And if we could go back and if you could go back and tell yourself two things prior to becoming a dad, what would they be? I know, for myself, there's a bunch of things that I would change if we could, right? But not that we didn't do it right, just if maybe if we did certain things faster or in a different way. The second topic we really want to touch on before I hand it over to some of our our other teammates here and partners is living up to stereotypes, which I'm sure we've all lived up to different stereotypes here. And then the third one, which I am definitely going to need help with, is having patience. Being a dad, you're tested with all different things, and having patience is something you need every day, all day, and continuing to learn. So, what I really want to do, guys, is hand it off to actually our founder of Time to Dad, Nick, and really just have you kind of touch on, right? If you could go back, tell yourself two things prior to becoming a dad, what would they be?
So, number one, I think would be enjoy the little moments in the quiet time. Um, I think having a newborn can be chaotic and tiring. And I look back now and, he's running around the house like a wild man. And I think I would probably tell myself to spend a little more time with him when he's just kind of laying there being a ball of goo, sleeping. Cuddle him a little bit longer when he goes to sleep instead of just taking him up to the bassinet just to try to get a break for myself. I think would be one of the two things. The second thing I would say is probably uh, be a little more helpful for my wife. I was fortunate enough to she breastfed our son, so a lot of those early months and weeks, she was up feeding him, and I kind of I felt like there wasn't a lot that I could do, right? So, when he cried in the middle of the night, she'd go and get him and feed him, and in that moment, I felt like that was the right thing that should be happening because she could feed him right. But I think going back, I'd try and find some more ways to kind of take some of that load off my wife and kind of ease some of the stress and tiredness that she's under having to deal with that.
All right, just don't tell my wife that one for our future ones. All right? Awesome.
So I guess for me, it would really come down to finding a good work-life balance. I think for many years having kids now, I have teenagers. One of the things that I think I did was allow work to become a priority to the point where there's stuff that I missed out on now. That looking back, that I really wish I had had a better balance and not prioritized work quite so high. I think as a man, it's always you want to I think a lot of us think first about providing, and I think I lost for quite a few years. I lost sight of the fact that there was things that I was doing. I was working very hard, and I was sacrificing some family time. I know it's a difficult balance to strike, but I think it took me more years than I would like to really recognize that, to pull that back. And the reason that we really work is so that we can improve and enjoy that time with our families. Right. And I think maybe I lost a little bit of sight of that early on in my career. The second one, the other one that I think is don't sell Apple stock if you keep it. If you just keep it, don't sell it. I
That's a
thought
good
I was a
spin.
genius. Oh, I bought it at $7 and sold it at 12, and thought I was a genius. And yeah, in hindsight, not so much.
Hey,
That's a
made
good
money.
Yeah,
Made
that's a
money.
good
Yeah,
spin on that
exactly, and that's
question.
the upside. It was profitable, but it would have been much more profitable.
Yeah, paid for diapers in the moment.
Yep, that's right.
All right. So, if I could go back and tell myself anything prior to having kids, is one, finish the baby room, because it's 18 months and they still don't have their baby room. They sleep with us. Their cribs are with us, and mommy and daddy need their space. So that was mistake number one. Pretty big one. Um, there's a lot of workarounds that we have to do, me and my wife, when it comes to, adult time, or even just, hanging out time, watching a movie in the bedroom. Yeah, do your damn baby room. So that's one for me. And two, which is change more poopy diapers, because it's gross, and your wife kind of doesn't want to do it either. Just change a couple of them. Don't be, it's gross. Yeah, it's poop. Nobody wants to be around it. Just help out. That's it.
I think for myself, I would say I would have a stronger focus on the first 3 years of the baby's life. I think that I would give them as big a variety of things to eat from as young as possible to try avert the frustration of trying to get them to eat something when they're like 6 or 7. So have them eat as broad a variety as possible, as early as possible. And then just get that structure in place, the routine for them right out the gate. So they just get used to it from the beginning, rather than trying to get the structure or routine in later when they're a little bit older and a little bit more cognizant as to what's going on. And then second one, I would say tough out the tantrums, man. Don't give in. Outstubborn them and you will win. And you will thank yourself in the later years when the tantrums, when they realize the tantrums don't get them anything, they go away.
Yeah, I guess
That seems like very good advice.
definitely. And that'll probably touch on the patience portion too. I know when those tantrums came, that's when it was tested, and still is, right? So we'll work on that. I was talking to somebody the other day. We were doing a home buyer seminar. I don't work in real estate, but I teach on the financial aspects of it. And, there was a young guy, he's like 26, 27, and he was asking, like he wants to be a father one day. He was asking me like, hey, what's one piece of advice that you would give? And I said, man, listen, if you think you have time now, like if you think you're busy now, just wait. So whatever it is, get it done today and get it done as fast as possible, because you are going to be, when you're ready to be a dad, you're going to see how little time you really have now and how much time you had in the past. And I think that was kind of what you went back to a little bit, Nick, right? That's how much time we have.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool, as he was kind of asking that. I felt like the old pops right there. I was, already. And the second thing I think is kind of everything what you do, everything comes back around. So maybe don't do so many stupid things as a kid, because if you realize that your kid's probably going to do a lot of those same things you did, if I could go back and say, don't do that because it's going to come back around. Don't do that because that's going to come back around too. Now, it might have led to a little bit less fun as a child, but I'm scared to see when my kids are like yours, Chris, as teenagers, to what's going to be like in the future. So I kind of went a different route with that, of what I could have changed maybe myself before becoming a dad, to help have more time with my kids and maybe be a better dad in that scenario. And I guess that kind of, right, it's part of who we are, right? As dads, you always feel like you have to protect. Chris, you kind of alluded to it a little bit before, like stereotypes of dads, right? There's so many out there. I think, we could all go through like where people stereotyped us based on how we look, what our profession is, things of that nature. And there's so many out there, but I think stereotypes is a great topic, and just kind of some, fun stuff to kind of talk about. It could be lighthearted stereotypes. It could be not so lighthearted stereotypes, but I think we all have there. And I don't know if somebody wants to jump in and maybe like a stereotype that maybe you've been stereotyped with. That's not me. Alex?
I got something, and it's embarrassing to say because I never in my life expected to be that parent, but I'm like a very much a helicopter parent. And I have twins, right? 18-month-old boy and girl. And they're my first kids. I've never had kids before. I'm 37 years old now. And it is so freaking scary to be a 36-year-old man in charge of two 18-month-old kids. It is so nerve-wracking. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm like, oh no, here's a sharp corner. Let me protect you from this. Here's a power outlet. Let me get these crazy plug covers so that you don't possibly pull them away. There's cabinet locks that are magnetized so that they can't get in there. You know what I mean? Baby gates. Insane. Like, yes, my wife takes care of a lot of that stuff, but it's like, dude, it's still something that I have to be conscious about. And they're like super short. They're able to move on their own. And it's like you turn around half a step, boom, you just stepped on your child's foot. Or boom, you're in the movement of your knee just so happen to whack their little body because they're right there, super quiet. And it's like, dude, no, like baby proof everything. And then like, yeah, just overprotective of my kids. And it's like, even against my dogs, right? My German Shepherd's fairly large compared to my kids. And I have to yell at my dog. Well, I hate to say yell because some people might jump on us, but I have to like raise my voice and say, dude, can you freaking watch out? You got a baseball bat for a tail. You're whacking the kids in the face. Like, I know you're happy to see me, but you just whacked my kid 3 times, dude. It's insane. And again, I never thought that I would be that guy or that parent, but that's me all day, dude. It sucks, but like, I have to take care of them and have to last legally until they're 18, and then they're kind of, not that they're not my responsibility or they're no longer something I have to take care of, but legally that's my obligation, right? Like 18 and figure it out, kid.
Our kids are getting luggage for their 18th birthday.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
I was gonna say
that might be my gift to them. Yeah, that's crazy.
When my son was younger, we prescribed to the helicopter parent ideal. You know, same thing you were saying, like, watch that table, you know, get out of the way. But now that he's like 4, it's kind of like don't do that. And he'll look right at you and he'll still do it. And then he'll knock his head on something. Exactly what you knew was going to happen. So I feel like
oh my goodness,
every parent at some point starts out as a helicopter parent and then kind of works their way out of it. But with my stepdaughter, she's graduating high school next week, we were in helicopter parent mode all over again because you know, she's in high school, getting into social media, getting into kids that do questionable things. And so I mean, we helicoptered the hell out of her growing up, and just we had apps to, you know, check in on what she was doing on her phone. We couldn't read conversations, but we could see who she was talking to. You know, it could tell us where she was at and things like that. And some of that stemmed just from the group of kids she fell in with and was hanging out. And some of that just stemmed from, you know, where we know what technology is, right? And so we know what she could potentially get into if she's not careful. So some of it was just being parents, making sure she was safe. And then the other side was just us being parents, knowing what we did in high school, right?
Yeah.
So
we did nothing bad in high school.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. And that's the funny part. We probably did, you know, we don't know everything she's done or is doing, but I'm sure it's not as bad as some of the things we did when we were younger. So
thank God no social media then. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That was the scariest part, man. Keep her off social media as long as we could. I mean, she'd come home with these stories about kids would be in the bathroom in high school. And it was apparently a thing to make a TikTok of everyone's shoes in the bathroom. And they would sit there and video kids' shoes while they're on the toilet. And then they go and make fun of them for it. And I was like, what in the hell is wrong with, like, unless you were smoking in the bathroom, you had no need to be in the bathroom when I was in high school. I mean, you just didn't go in the bathroom. It wasn't like a fun place to hang out.
But you're doing it when I was your age.
Yeah, exactly.
When you were in high school.
Just ridiculous. So yeah, we tried to protect her and kind of shelter her from some of that. And now she's just full blown social media, unlocked phone, does what she wants. So, but yeah, we tried to protect her from some of the crap that we'd hear through the grapevine that kids are doing to each other on social media these days.
I had a friend, I think we all start off as helicopters, especially with the first one, right? You just feel like you're gonna break them so easily. And I had a friend who just cracked me up because they had a young kid that was their first one, I mean, at a year old or whatever. They just started taking their boy out to a restaurant or to restaurants, and it would literally be like the kid was dressed in a hazmat suit. They'd bring their own like cover for the high chair tray, and completely like just sanitize everything. By the second one, the kid could have been eating food off the bathroom floor and it would have been fine. It'd been like,
yeah,
builds immunity,
5-second rule.
but
yeah.
Why you gotta calm down like that, Chris?
yeah.
Well, your second just popped.
100%
Yeah.
They're 30 minutes apart. It's ridiculous.
You guys are 30 minutes apart?
Wow.
Oh,
Right. See, that's what I love about this
Yeah.
podcast. We don't even know everything about each other still.
I was
So
like,
that's,
I was like 2 minutes.
that's that out.
Yeah, it was. Let me go off topic just a little bit, just to tell you how insane this whole experience was. So, my kids came 9 weeks early. Okay, so just think about what I just said for a second. So my wife's water burst like a week before the babies wanted to come along. Rushed to the hospital. I actually, as you guys know, I'm in a band, and I actually skipped band practice, or actually scratched that. I skipped recording studio practice to go take my wife to the hospital. So here we go, take her to the hospital. The baby wanted to come out. She's like, your wife is 7 millimeters or whatever dilated. So it's go time, right? There's a group of nurses all around, and I'm just like, what do I do? Like, what am I supposed to do? They bought us some time. They gave her whatever shots they needed to give her. And during the whole process, the day after, my daughter came out normal, just normal birth. It was held to my wife, right? Even though my daughter was barely 4 pounds, like it put a toll on my wife's body. And here comes my son's turn, and he's like arm first, shoulder first, everything but his head, which is what they wanted to do. So my wife had the luxury of experiencing one baby as a normal birth and another baby as a C-section, because just weird complications. So we went through the ringer, dude. Like, these kids are still putting us through the ringer. Like, it's freaking insane. But yeah, that's my.
Well, your girl, that 30 minutes will eventually be very important to her, because she will lord the fact that she's 30 minutes older than your boy.
1000%. I know.
Yep.
I've known many twins in my life, and yes, that is not something they'll let go of. Yeah, I'm the oldest by 5 minutes, by 1 hour. Yeah, it's gonna come.
I was at 2 minutes apart. Both of them C-section.
Oh, wow.
2 minutes. Okay.
But my first were all natural, and then the twins were C-section, and that was pretty intense because it's just not something you're used to seeing. Wife's belly getting cut right open, and the doctor like elbow deep pulling babies out.
Yeah.
Now I got it when you just said that. Did you? I thought that was like my wife got a C-section too, and I know this is a topic dads and moms get on all the time. Did you think it was cool?
I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I had to get told to sit down by the doctors because I thought it was like a big thing. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Hospital hours I did my EMT, and I've seen a bunch of trauma things going on there. And so the doctor knew that because we had the same doctor for all 4 of our kids. So she was like, hey, Luke, now she starts like giving me a lesson on everything she's doing, and she's slicing me through the different levels of skin.
Oh wow!
My wife's like, seriously?
I wasn't allowed on the other side of the like rape. My wife was like, no, you're not seeing any of that.
No, I was gonna
So
say,
I
saw all
stayed
of
up
it.
by her head the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me too.
I wasn't
But-
allowed
I saw
to,
all of
but my wife didn't know what was going on too much at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly to see. Just besides the doctor reaching in, like after everything's pulled out that they need to pull out, just the pool of blood in that general area, and you're like, oh my god, what the hell? But like my, as I've said in the last podcast, my background is military. I've seen some strange stuff that most people shouldn't see, but here we go. Now this is my wife's turn, and here I am, and I'm unfazed. But the funnier part of this whole experience is that before everything happened, so like minutes before my daughter came out, they're moving equipment around my wife, right? So all these monitors are all around. I noticed that one of the machines got disconnected. So here I go. I get on my knees to pick up the cable and reach down to connect this machine again. The nurse or doctor, I don't know exactly, was like, "Hey, is your husband okay?" Because they saw me on the ground. That's all they saw, so they don't know any background. They thought I was about to pass out, which is hilarious. But I'm like, I'm so unfazed by gnarly, gory stuff at this point in my life. I'm just like, no, I'm okay. Like I'm just trying to help you guys out because my babies are coming out.
Nice. That's awesome. So I'm
our
thinking of.
firstborn,
Oh, go ahead.
Everything went wrong in the firstborn, which was crazy. And she ended up pushing for 5.5 hours of straight hardcore pushing. Like then the contraption measures the contractions, that broke. So I was helping time the contractions. Then the stir broke, so I had to get a foot up against my shoulder, keeping her.
Oh my gosh!
Nice.
And then they were about to order a C-section, and the doctor says, "We're going to try one last time," and then the bowel just popped out. But it broke my life, man. Sure. Made me very happy to be a man.
Thank God. No better time to be on Time to Dad right there.
Yep.
Right? Man.
I was gonna say. So, speaking of when you said you were kind of used to things and spacing out, I think Dad's spacing out is becoming a pretty common stereotype. Just kind of staring off into the abyss. I'm going to apologize now to anyone listening. There is a hellacious storm outside, and I'm not sure if you guys can hear it or not, but Mother Nature does not listen to no man. So, but yeah, I think that's one of those things.
When does a woman ever listen to
Yeah.
that? Come on.
My wife she'll catch me just staring off into the abyss, and what are you doing? And I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know what I was thinking about. I'm sure I was thinking about something important, but that's one of those stereotypes that get me. I'll be just staring off into the abyss, thinking about, did I lock my car? Did I lock the shutup? Did I put that tool back? Mm-hmm. My wife's constantly just like, what are you doing? You okay?
I'm the guy that goes around switching off all the lights at the end of the night.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. My wife's got a lamp fetish. There's like 100 lamps in her house. I get them all off.
Nice.
I have the bad habit of like shutting off my brain, and my wife will it's like sometimes you have to yell at me because I'm nowhere to be found. Right, my brain is completely turned off, and she's like, "Hey, babe. Hey, dude. Hey, Alex. Like, what? Like, pay attention. I'm telling you something." I'm like, "Oh yeah, shit, yeah. What was it? Yep. Yeah. Okay, good, got it. All right, I'll do it."
Yeah. Yeah, my wife always notices my eyes. She always says my eyes. Into a conversation, but
Joe went down. You got to repeat that.
Something else, and all of a sudden, it's just wherever my eyes are. She goes, "You have no idea what I just said," and I'm like, "Crap! I really have no idea what you just said right now."
I get a lot,
but
yeah, or things in one ear and out the other. Get me
sometimes. Right. And whether you're on vacation or whether you're planning a vacation or what I like to say is I was just planning Mother's Day or right a trip or something for her. Then you can't get too mad about it.
Yep.
I think when you're on vacation, you're justified. You're allowed to just switch off.
Yes, yeah, that's
Switch the old brain off for a minute.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I there's so many stereotypes that kind of go with that, with the spacing out and right the clueless dad, right? There's kind of the goes along with that, and right, I think we've all seen that, been that before. I don't know if anybody's ever kind of had somebody maybe kind of I feel like the whole dad spectrum has changed a little bit, and that we were talking about like sitcoms, right? There was King of Queens, that was a big one, right? And he kind of became like the joke of the family almost, where it used to be, I feel like the complete opposite.
Well, you got old, what's his name? Married with Children?
Ed O'Neill?
Exactly.
Yep.
The sort of dad who cares but doesn't really care.
Yeah.
He's like works at a job that he hates, and he like comes home defeated from the day, and then he has to deal with his crazy kids and his crazy wife. Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, and I wonder how much of that comes from being not wanting to purposely engage in certain subjects versus really being clueless, right? There's sometimes there's avoiding. You can be avoiding a conversation or not wanting to get sucked into certain things. I'm definitely clueless when it comes to cars and stuff, but I try. But I guarantee I come across as like somebody would be correct to just question whether I've actually seen an engine before. It's just not my wheelhouse.
I can guarantee I come across as someone who knows less than you about cars.
Well, that's why we have Alex, right? That's it. The mechanic, right?
Yeah, I work on cars for a living, and it's sad the amount of knowledge that you accumulate, like not on purpose. It's just you work on such a variety of cars. You're like, oh, this car is known for this. This car is known for that. Oh, this car brand generally sucks. Stay away from them. You know what I mean?
Yep. I just had to take my Tacoma in for a pretty hefty service because I'm terrible at maintenance and stuff. And the guy very, very sweetly kind of pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, Chris, do you know that you should change your oil?" And I was like, just the way he phrased it was just so nice. Like, I mean, just talking to me like I was a complete moron, but trying to do it in a very, very nice way. That I really appreciate it.
Yeah, how many miles are you over is the real question.
Oh,
yeah, it's go ahead. Sorry.
It's bad when the oil turns hard, right?
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, okay.
That's generally not a good thing.
Yeah, you don't want milkshake motor oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually it's sludge and then it becomes an issue. But yeah, it's amazing how much very bare minimum maintenance will do for your car. It'll prolong the life of your vehicle. Anything from regular oil changes to changing air filters, cabin filters. It makes your driving experience a little bit better. And then you get to bigger services like transmission flushes, coolant flushes, or brake fluid flush. You know what I mean? And then if it gets worse than that, then you start replacing parts. Yeah.
Yep.
Bare minimum, just a oil change once, twice a year, depending on how much you drive, obviously. Yeah, it'll go a long way. And tire pressures. Please check your tire pressures, guys. Check them.
I got a little dashboard light that'll yell at me when the pressure is not right. But I don't know. I don't regularly check them, I guess. Maybe I should, because I've heard those things can be wildly inaccurate.
Yeah, on average, it's either a pound of pressure a month or a pound of pressure a year. I can't recall, but it's something along those lines. And yeah, it's something you should take care of because tire rotations, simple things like that, just making sure your pressures are right. It'll cause uneven wear, alignment. I mean, I could go down the list of things that you should be able to take care of on your car, but I'm not here for that.
Let's talk about along the line of stereotypes, it's not necessarily a dad stereotype, but do you see like the wild, crazy stuff where people like bring the car in for like a state inspection and like something major mechanical is wrong and they just are absolutely clueless. And you got to go tell them like their
Yes.
rotor's just free spinning on the axle because it's so worn.
Yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff like that. But for us, since I am a licensed state inspector also in the state of North Carolina, simple things like wipers will fail you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if your tint is too dark, things of that nature. Just it's stuff that the state takes very seriously as far as safety is concerned. I mean, it's weird. It's just weird stuff.
I'm sure every state's different in that scenario too.
The show.
Yeah. Car is definitely not my thing, but that is definitely, I wish I knew more about it, or I wish I cared more about it. I just, I don't think I ever had the patience to learn it. Even when my father was trying to teach me all that stuff, it was, for me, it was just like, all right, let's focus on sports. You know, let's focus. Yeah, come watch, you know, how to do the oil. I'm like, no, I'm going to go throw the basketball and probably hit the car that you're working on, you know, while you're underneath. And that was it. But I wish I learned that stuff. I think it's so important. I did not have the patience for it. And, but now I think that's something that we could all learn. So Alex, that'll be a teaching session for us. We'll get under the hood one.
1,000%. I'm your guy.
We'll do a under the hood with Alex segment.
There you go.
We'll do that.
What is there like something that like test like your patience, like as a mechanic?
Tight spaces. So Japanese cars tend to be a lot tighter packed. Some European cars as well, like Mini Coopers, have almost no space in the engine bay for you to fit your giant mitts in there. So,
Gotta get these.
Yeah. So sometimes what kind of bothers me a lot is people come in needing an oil change and they drove it for like half an hour or maybe a little bit longer. So everything underneath the car is super hot. And if you have to check anything and you don't really, I mean, you're just trying to do your job. You don't think about it. You go and grab something like the oil filter and it's burning hot. It's just boiling hot. Or if you happen to get a little bit of oil on your hand, even if it's on your wrist, because I usually wear gloves, even if it's on your wrist and it just gets on you a little bit, that's just not so much a pet peeve, but that's definitely aggravating while I'm at work because, you know, I'm just trying to do my job and here I am getting burned.
Nice.
Part of what you signed up for, I guess, right?
Definitely. It's not for guys with soft hands, not to disrespect anybody's jobs, but yeah, it's a rough life, bud. It's rough.
I got a few good scars on the back of the hand from a slipped wrench and you punch something sharp up under there. Oh my God.
Bud. Yes, bud.
Painful.
Yes. Sometimes, since again, this is what I do for a living, I'll have like big, like scrapes, gashes. I have like I scraped my dragon tattoo over here on I don't know what, and my wife looked at it this morning. She said, "Hey, what happened there?" I don't know, man. I'm just trying to get my job done. I have no time to look at my little injuries that I have throughout the day. I just have to get my work done.
The thing that tries my patience is, and I have to constantly work at it because it's not a problem with anybody else. It's just with me. And people that they want to tell you like, well, I bumped into somebody at the store, or I got a shopping cart that had a wobbly wheel, but they go so long and take just a crazy long story to get there, right? You got to have like a Sherpa and a backpack to follow along with where they're going because it takes them forever to get there, and that just drives me. It's just something I have to constantly work on because I'll constantly try to jump in and tell them what they're trying to tell me to conclude their story, right? And it's just so rude, but it's just something that just really I constantly have to work at to try to not do that and to have that patience and let them and just follow on the journey that their story is.
I'm going to the ringer with one of our kids where he's just he's become very good at knowing which buttons to push, when to push, and how to push them. And it definitely takes a lot of sort of just deep belly breaths and the awareness to remind myself that he's 6. He doesn't. Just wait, it'll pass. But you're challenging, to say the least.
Yeah, I think it's I am amazed by the patience that my wife has when I see sometimes like the temper tantrums and that our little guy, and we only have the one, but and he's having 2, right? They always say the terrible 2s, but although everybody keeps telling me the 3s are worse, so I am scared to see what that does. But the tantrums, and he's an awesome kid, but when the tantrums come, I have a hard time with that because it's like almost like he starts getting loud, like it's a reaction to almost get louder, right? And it's like that's like the last thing you could almost do, And I remember a few weeks ago, he got angry. He was yelling about something and getting loud, and I had that same reaction. So I get like louder. So instead of doing that, I just went. I got to just gotta like calm myself down a little bit. And then he started doing that, and then he was doing that all day and the next few days and just spitting all over the house. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? I was like, it was better than yelling. I didn't yell at the kid, but now I just drool all over the house. I don't know. Patience was always a hard thing I had, I think, in all things. But that one drives me, the getting louder and louder. I don't know what it is. It's just because it could just be a casual hangout, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just goes like that. Or if you have to get something done, like at a certain time, like be somewhere, and right, it's like,
that's the worst.
They're testing your patience, right? They're testing the patience. How far can I go? I'm just going to put this cup right over here, or this right over there. And thank God I had nieces and nephews growing up, because my oldest niece is only 12 years apart from me, so I got to see a lot of children growing up, and I guess learn a little bit of patience, because I don't know what, if I didn't have them, I don't know what I would have been in store for with mine without seeing them. But yeah, tip of the day. So you got to get loud, just spit like this, right back out.
I was going to say, we have that unique situation where our daughter's much older than our son, right? But I mean, she had the patience of a saint. Anything she wanted to do, right? Little brother wanted to be there doing it, and she just wanted her space. He would be all up in her business. I mean, just falling all over her, knocking her computer over when she's doing homework, pulling her hair. And I mean, she had more patience than my wife and I did with some of the stuff. I would have lost my ass if he had been over there doing the same thing to me, and I'm trying to work. So yeah, her patience with our son was pretty admirable. And as of recently, I've kind of noticed that I need to work on my patience and understand that, he's a little human being. He doesn't know 100% how to express, when he's upset or mad or angry, which we've been working with him on. And so I've been trying to make a conscious effort to it's okay. He's just stay calm, and he'll calm down eventually. And sometimes I can give myself that little mental reminder and catch myself. But other times, yeah, you're like, okay, he's being loud as hell, screaming at me, pissed off. So your natural reaction is, like you said, to just get as loud or louder, which only exacerbates the situation even further. But I've been trying to catch myself. But that's a tough gig, trying to remain calm when they're just sitting there screaming and throwing stuff.
It's not even just about the screaming and throwing. He'll intentionally walk like one foot sliding next to each other and knowing we're in a rush. The more I'm like, hey man, not now. Like, you gotta get in there. He'll just step down. Just like, buddy, come on. Just pushes those buttons. Because I've got a thing on punctuality. I'm trying to never be late. And he's obviously picked up on that. So he's like, I'm just going to take my time.
Yeah. Well, good thing you don't live in New York, because you can't control that with that traffic.
Oh my goodness, I couldn't imagine.
They're like kids are like cats sometimes. See all the cat videos where the cat's just looking at their owner and just swats something with their paw and knocks it. Kids will do the same damn thing. They'll look right at you with a cup full of milk, and you'll say, careful, you're going to knock that over. 2 minutes later, he's just staring at you, waiting for you to look back at him so he can swat it over. And you're just like, what? Why? What in the
And
heck?
then they tell you to clean it.
Yeah, and then he freaks out because he's got milk all over his shirt and pants now. And I'm like, well, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, we were all there doing it at one point to our parents, right? So,
I'm sure.
I never did anything like that.
Goes back to doing stupid things and getting stuck with it, and it comes back together.
Yeah,
yeah, the full wheel round. Yeah.
So, who wants to talk about one of the biggest ones I think I've seen in the dad groups is the New Balance shoes. Any subscribers to the Dad New Balance shoe club?
Yeah, that would be me. I didn't even know that those were a dad thing until one day I was literally wearing New Balance and of course tube socks, and my kids looked at me and they were like, "You're just such a dad." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Those are just dad shoes. That's what And I'm like, "Oh man." All right. Yeah, I guess so. That's me.
The New Balance, the tube socks, and the jean shorts. That's it.
Oh, boy.
I can't wear socks with shorts. That crosses the line even for me. Or Crocs. I can't do Crocs. That's a bridge too far.
So I knew it was a stereotype, but I was accustomed to it being like in a couple car groups I'm in, you'd always see them making fun of like Corvette owners for wearing like New Balance and tube socks. And then I joined a couple of dad groups, and you see every newborn, like dad holding a newborn that's like, guys, check out my new kicks, and it's New Balance. And I was like, oh, okay, this is a thing?
But
Like,
they have to be whites.
what's that?
They have to be white New Balances.
White with the black
That's the
lettering
move.
outline is apparently the OG
I'll raise
dad
that
New
just
Balance.
a little bit. Mine have grass stains on them also, which
there you go.
you guys, that's terrible. But
You're a professional.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
At
leveling up.
least you're doing your duty. At least you're doing your duty.
Yep.
All right. I hate to be that guy, but unfortunately, I did not charge my phone, so I might get cut off somewhere here. I got a message from my phone. So
It's all right. You can go turn your New Balance shoes out.
Yeah, we're gonna
That's
talk
right.
about you once you leave.
Yeah. Sorry. Listen, I'm not a New Balance guy. I'm not there yet. I'm still wearing Vans. I'm still wearing Converse and flip flops. So that's my shoe collection. You know what I mean? It's nothing crazy fancy or expensive, but I'm not there. Okay. I'm not there.
I don't think I could ever subscribe to that club. I've always I don't collect like the crazy like limited edition Dunks and stuff, but in my younger days,
don't even look.
I would.
Don't look. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I would get a paycheck, and we'd call it like shoes and a hat day, and we were young kids like in college, and we'd get a paycheck, and whatever didn't go to rent, we'd go buy the cheapest pair of Dunks we could find. And so we have this ginormous shoe rack up in our bedroom that is right when you walk up the stairs to our room, and my wife constantly runs into that thing, and she's like, what are you going to do? You don't even wear half these shoes. I'm like, I can't, I have an emotional attachment to these shoes. And she's right. I don't wear half of them anymore. But part of me is like, well, one day I'll give them to little man and he can wear them. But yeah, I don't think I could ever subscribe to the New Balance look.
Yeah. Never saw it happening for I have black New Balance shoes, but it was before I was a dad.
You're halfway there.
And I still wear them though. So that was before dad came, but they're like those mesh ones, and like the mesh sneakers.
Like
I don't know what it is. What's that?
An overachiever.
That's it. I wanted to be a dad so bad that I went out and bought them before it even happened to see what was.
You bought the sport mode dad shoes.
That was it. That was it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I think we're kind of getting near the end of this episode. Anybody got? Maybe we can do two more good stereotypes before we wrap this one up.
Isn't the dad bod like trending right now? Isn't it cool to have a dad bod?
Yes, it is.
I see those reels and TikToks all the time of where they're like interviewing people.
yeah.
They're like dad bod or
Well,
six
now they
pack.
call it a father figure. That's the new term.
There we go.
That is the father figure, which is a lot better, way to look at it.
Great.
But
I don't know. I've got a dad bod, and I have to look at myself in the mirror every day, and it's not pretty. It's not.
as long as you wear the tube socks and the shoes with it, then you're fine. Then
Yeah.
then you're representable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the dad
I
bod.
get-
Like, how does I don't know. Has anybody seen like a major change? I mean, Luke, I know you became a dad young, so it was probably a little bit different, the first time. But like a major change in their father figure since they became a dad.
No, I've gone like roller coasters. I mean, I've been a dad for 26 years now, so I've done the whole. I've had dad bod. I've been skinny. I've been fat. I've been all of it.
Yeah.
Mine came about when I was living a sedentary lifestyle from just sitting at a desk all day working. That was really the big transition for me when I went from being very active, moving a lot, to sitting at a computer all day. It's just like, bleh.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where we are now. Transitioned into that.
I got
Slowly, I think it came a little bit.
lost Joe.
Yep.
Earth
Joe
to
froze
Joe.
again.
I thought it was just me.
Nope, there he is. Well, fast forward. We missed what you said. You were in
He
stop
just went
motion
through
for a
those
minute.
space up moments. He was just spacing out.
I was so fast. I was so fast.
So I'll give us one last one that's a dad stereotype. I think is there's two. There's the grill dad, right? And then there's the lawn dad. And I fall into both of those stereotypes a little bit. I'll cut the grass and then stare out the window of the house for a good 5 to 10 minutes. Like, damn, that yard looks good.
So that's, man, I got a weird setup. My wife loves mowing the lawn. So
I've heard that from a few guys. They're like, no, my wife legitimately likes doing it.
What she wants. Like,
yeah, not gonna argue with that.
Yep. Yeah. No, so that's my wife enjoys it too. She doesn't do it all the time, but when she does it, she does enjoy it. She does enjoy it.
Yeah.
Hold up.
She puts the headphones in and she just gives her time to just zone out and get some sun and some exercise. And I'm like, cool.
My wife just brings giant ferns home that eventually die a slow death in her office. And it's like, if you've ever left a Christmas tree up a little too long and you don't have the fancy bag and you're trying to drag it down the hall and you look at all the crap you have to sweep and vacuum up afterwards, try carrying a 40-pound dead fern through the house. Just dropping little leaves all over the damn place.
Awesome.
That's my wife's contribution to landscaping and yard work is indoor house plants everywhere.
Let's get the plastic imitations.
We should. We could have a nice vacation house by now with as much money as she's dropped on ferns that go to see the fern fairy.
Yeah, I think I would be considered probably a grill dad for sure. Just looking outside, I was just thinking through. I think I have 6 different barbecue grills,
yes.
Right, from various smokers and electric smoker, charcoal smoker, gas grill, charcoal grill. It's like you got to have a grill for all occasions, You
never know. You got to be able to. Do you have a griddle?
I do actually. Yeah, I have a Blackstone.
Yeah. That's what you got to have. Hibachi. You got to be able to smoke some brisket when you want.
Exactly. It's probably, I mean, just like probably most guys, it's probably steak. But what I love on the Blackstone is fried rice. Oh, I mean, it just makes ridiculously good fried rice. It's crazy, like what you get, some professional makes off of hibachi. It's just fantastic. And then it's just mostly like I a lot of stuff I've switched. I found this method of cooking like steaks in your oven. It's like I call it a 5-minute method. It's it's really, I think, 7. But just do it on the stovetop. You sear each side for 2 minutes on high, and then put it in the oven for 5 minutes. And it just comes out perfect. Beautiful char crust and medium rare, and just fantastic. But now it's summer here, I have to get back outside. I've already been grilling a few
You
times.
got to with your Blackstone, you got to Google sous vide if you haven't seen that.
Oh yeah,
I've seen it. I can't justify dropping like $200 on the machine to actually do the sous vide process, but I've watched videos of people do it. I'm like, wow, that looks amazing.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but that's apparently how people are. The bad boys are doing it.
Working on luxury yachts between the Bahamas and the Caribbean for a couple of years, and we had a sous vide machine on the boat, and the chef would cook us on occasion, not all the time. This is reserved for the guests, but if we had no guests on, he'd cook that for us. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, I'm hungry now.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you guys got to get a little more insight into our lives. These are just 3 topics of many to come. So hope you guys go over, check out, join our Facebook group, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode.
See ya.
See ya.
Hey guys.